Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, YouTube. All subscribers, viewers of this video. My name is Khalid Muhammad Ariff, Sekitar Synergy again here in this video. And to all my environmental affiliates, associates, environmental consultants, environmental trainers, and for those all whose work interact with the environment, welcome to this video. First of all, before we go on, please ensure for all my Muslim colleagues all over the world, wherever you are, please do not watch this video if you are already in a mosque for the Friday prayers, especially, and if you're attending some religious lessons, please turn off this video. Thank you very much. Now, I am in this video. We are going to discuss concerns related to safety, health, and environment in view of probably some of you or most of you are actually having an integrated management system comprising of safety, health, environment, and probably even quality. These are all popular mergers, and it is smart and it is intelligent and it is efficient to have one management system that you're able to administer all these various what they call elements of management system. And safety, health, they manage the same activity for a different intended outcome, and the environmental management manage this particular activity for a different intended outcome, as also for ISO 9000 manages this activity for a different set of outcome. So the redundant thing that I've heard of this too many times, people are saying it's redundant. Yes, it is redundant. What is redundant? The activity. Okay, and the procedure is redundant as well, except that you got to add safety, health into your common procedure, environment into that procedure, and quality into that one procedure. So you have one procedure, yeah, and you have procedures that talks about quality, health, safety, and environment. You call that redundant? Okay, but for me it is smart. All right, now let's take a look at this activity, shall we? Well, this is a popular equipment that probably most of you are familiar with. This is a genset. In fact, this is an active genset used in the construction sector, and this picture was taken when we were doing an audit. And I have after this audit have a thorough, deep, what they call discussion in the form of meeting with the internal auditors after the audit is done, and show them what they need to do, and they share this picture with me. Now, this is a diesel fueled generator set. This particular illustration that I am about to share with you also apply to all industries who have got so-called standby genset. There are a number of industries whose industrial processes can't afford to be stopped just because there is a power trip. So they have got to have a standby genset in case power breaks off, and automatically with an electronic and electrical gadgets and system, you know that better than I do, would trigger on the standby genset to resume the power for those processes, for those equipment that is using electrical energy. So let's take a look at this picture. What do you see? a huge genset. This is a construction site, and if you are in the construction activity, especially if you are a safety health officer and a safety health manager, and probably you're a construction manager or project manager, as you know, most of these activities are sub out to subcontractors. And if you're a main contractor for this project, I believe that you may have quite a hard time managing the subcontractors. And this picture was taken some time ago. Today, the situation differs. It has improved a lot more. Higher level, better improvement has been done. Now let's take a look. What are the issues? You can see all these drums, litters, even the pallets, wood pallets, all scattered around, or perhaps scaffolding wood, or perhaps formwork. It has been scattered. Now take a look at this. Maybe this is an interest of, well, this is the interest of our discussion. It is spillage. All this, this equipment, this genset is, I'm not sure whether it's a 2-stroke or 4-stroke diesel engine, but it is an engine, and normally for big genset they're using 2-stroke diesel engines, and and the vibration. Look, it's put on some ground. It has been modified the base so that it is straight up, and I believe mechanical engineers correct me if I'm wrong. I believe when mechanical equipment structures, mechanisms are moving, it has got to be stable, and instability, even the engine power itself would vibrate the entire structure, and this causes parts of the engines, connectors, pumps, etc., oil sumps, oil pump gasket, gearboxes may have leaked sometime, and that causes that leak. So let's discuss about that leak. This particular oil leak here is already, look at it, already contaminating the ground. Take a look. Now let's take oily leak. Well, why I say oily leak, not lube oil leak? Because it could be a mixture of lube oil with their coolant. It could be a mixture of some engine oil or lube oil with perhaps hydraulic oil. We are not sure which part of this genset is leaking, but for sure it is oily stain, and we pick oily leakage. It is leaking. So this is an environmental aspect. Why it is an environmental aspect, we'll discuss shortly. Now, let's link environment, safety, and health the way that I could. All right. So this oily leakage is affecting safety. In what form? Let's take a look. Well, it is oil, right? And as you know, oil is in flammable liquids. Whether I put it at the right place, I'm not sure. Health safety experts, please correct me. Is inflammable liquid correctly put as potential hazard, or would I say electrocution as a potential hazard? Or is electrocution is potential risk? Please correct me. And being an electrical generator, this high voltage being generated, and this all about laying of cables around the area from the genset to those unit equipment that require electrical power, and it is exposed to the open, and backhoe might be crossing it, might be rolling over those cables. People might step on it, and sharp parts of construction materials might fall on it. Even rocks, even aggregates, whatever, bricks can fall on it. And what happened to the cables, it can get broken and thereby cause electrocution. And these are all, this video and all other videos, all these potential hazard risks that I put in here are taken from SHO. Us, when we do audit, it is my interest to understand safety and health, because a lot of people say it's redundant, and I say it's not. And I gather all this information from safety health officers. Thank you very much to them, and most of them are, I think, my age by now. I hope they saw this video. They are happy to see what I share with you. It is from them. Okay, and also there are other potential hazards. Here is the exhaust fumes. What? Diesel combustion. What do you get from the emission? Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, perhaps nitrogen oxides, varieties of sulfur oxide. Diesel has a higher content of sulfur as compared to petrol. And take a look. Take a look at how the genset is being installed. What do you think? Is it a safe way of installing genset? So I write down there unsafe installation based on the finding they got and share with me. And this is what I looked personally and took this picture, and we discussed along the way. And he told me that there was a few injuries because people trip over while walking, knock on some, well, it's an uneven surface, as you could see, rocks. You can have wood pallets, wood foam work scattered around, and people knock it and fall and get injury. And excuse me, and and the fumes from the exhaust can cause some form of intoxication or respiratory discomfort. Well, these are all potential risks, and it has been associated. In fact, the heat from the genset is also another potential risk. The heat radiant causes some discomfort and also problems to some construction workers. On top of that, vibration and especially noise, is like recording more than 70, 80 decibel A if you're nearer, and there are some cases of also due to all the potential hazard, there has been record of fatality. But actually, it's more of electrocution. There were a few cases of electrocution. Seriously injured, no fatality, based on my years of experience. But fatality is normally related to working at heights. People fall from higher levels of the building, especially when they are constructing high-rise buildings, and this is how the safety potential hazard has affected health in that way. And when a person is injured and he got to work with medical attention, of course medical waste is associated to this, and perhaps as he fall and injured, there are other remnants due to that accident, and that would be posing some form of solid waste or medical waste that would cause the respective environmental impact. And vice versa, the oil leak can be causing health problem due to the volatile organics which is emitted into the air, and over prolonged exposure can cause some form of intoxication to workers, and workers may not be able to make good judgment in their work, can cause spillage, can fall, can cause explosion, can accidentally ignite these inflammable liquids, and thereby all these accidents would be causing an impact to the environment, such as explosion. It is a plume of fumes and toxic fumes into the air, causing air pollution, etc., etc. All right, so like to look at the environmental management part, like me to explain how oil leakage interacts with the environment. Okay. Okay, oil leakage. Leaks. What is it? An input or output from this activity? It is an output. Remember, environmental management system is about managing environmental aspects. How? By fulfilling compliance obligation. What else? Address risk and opportunities. And then arrive to what we want to achieve. We call it intended outcomes. What else? Make program planning actions to achieve those intended outcomes. And for the rest of that is additional. And how to manage, coming back to environmental management, how to manage this activity, the genset operation is managing its environmental aspects in a way that would prevent or eliminate or reduce the occurrence of environmental impact that require SOP. These are instructions which are employed. We use your existing quality management system procedure, safety health management system procedure, incorporate or insert environmental instruction to those existing procedure. Then you have an integrated procedure, integrated environmental management system. No fuss. It's not difficult. Okay. Now, so since oil leakage is an output, can I use another color perhaps? Okay. Since it is an output, how does it interact with the environment? It will interact downstream because it is an output. We have to look how it interacts downstream of its life cycle. In other words, what happened to oil leaks? After it leaks, it will enter the soil and cause soil pollution. As it got leaked initially, there is volatile organic compounds that will be polluting the air, causing air pollution. And when the leak is not addressed soon enough, it will penetrate the surface of the ground, from the surface of the ground and into the ground, into the vadose zone, infiltration, and cause ground pollution, and so on. Eventually, it might get to the aquifer, the groundwater reserve, the groundwater segment of the soil, and that causes groundwater contamination. Okay, I hope that is comprehensible. Now let's take a look at diesel. Diesel here is an input. You know this better than I do by now. Some of you are even better than me. This is an input. Therefore, how it interacts with the environment is by looking at upstream, meaning where does it come from? The interaction is there. And at upstream of its life cycle perspective, diesel comes from the oil and gas refinery. And it comes from crude oil, and crude oil is being drilled, or what called drilling of the bedrock, and therefore causes less and less fossil fuel balance in the environment, in the environmental resource, and then the impact is popularly known as resource depletion, and that drilling has caused vast, what they call, well, damage to the geological structure of the bedrock. That would be another environmental impact. Now let's take a look at another popular environmental aspect from this activity. Well, diesel engines. If you're a user of diesel engine, you know this, the fuel pump and fuel nozzle. This is a brand new fuel pump brought into this aspect. This example is taking an example of a fuel pump which is new, brought in by a service contractor as input to replace the old fuel pump which is kaputted, which is kaput, and since it is an input environmental aspect, it will interact with the environment upstream and the fuel pump. As you know, in order to make fuel pump, it's a lot of interaction with the environment. It is as a whole metal, rubber, and fiber components. Fiber is petrochemical, metal is from mining. So in order to produce the fuel pump, the interactions with the environment is talking about metal fabrication, coming from metal ingots, coming from mining of metals, and the plastic components comes from petrochemical, comes from oil and gas, and all these are array of countless or vast interactions with the environment, but we kept it simple in this way. Finally, it causes when more of these metals and petrochemicals, oil and gas, and plastic, and all this is required, more demand, then they have got to drill more for the crude oil, and that would cause what we call resource depletion. And on top of that, it has caused vast, continuous, repeated geological damage, and the damage is not mended, it is not repaired, the damage is permanent. Okay, I hope that would be able to give you some clear picture of the explanation of the life cycle perspective of this environmental aspect, so that I can make a picture and give you some illustration. Please do comment, or at least like if you like it. If you need something more to understand, please comment. Let me try and find out and do this work for you. Okay, let's take a look about the risk associated to the operation of these genset. There you are, legal liability. We are not allowed to install in Malaysia. Okay, we are not allowed to install genset if it is able to burn fuel, in this case diesel, more than 15 kilogram per hour. If the genset is a big genset, meaning it is combusting fuel using diesel fuel more than 15 kilogram per hour, we got to have approval from the authority and to operate, to buy, install, and operate. Okay, smaller than that, then that would be a part of the second schedule emission of a clean air regulation. On top of that, there are other risk, material losses. So how do we manage this? Simple. Therefore, we need to have a procedure in your integrated management system pertaining to the same item, which is genset, that your HSC or your legal advisor must get approvals from the authority for the installation and operation of the genset. That is what we're supposed to do. And material losses over here is talking about those oil. And when it is vibrating, you are shortening the lifespan of many other mechanical components. Okay, so what we got to do, the risk from this material losses, then take a look at opportunity. This is what we can do. What I didn't include here is the opportunity is to have legal. You need to have what they call legal review. This is one opportunity, legal review. Okay, so that we are able to ensure all this genset is operating with legality. On top of that, the material losses, this will become opportunity for us as well. Apart from legal, the material losses, what we could do is to look for methods that we are able to deploy to ensure the vibration is dampened. That is another opportunity, but I didn't type it there. When there is less vibration, the mechanical parts, the oil seals, the gasket last longer. That would be an opportunity something that we intended so that the operation of the genset is safer and more durable and less costly for the company. We can cut costs over there. Also, other going forward, so-called, we can use a genset which is a hybrid with solar. Okay, that will be good. Or we can check for the combustion efficiency of this particular genset. Probably take a look at the air-fuel ratio and the purity of the diesel being used. Therefore, you got to check for the fuel filter of diesel. It's normally dirty, and when it is clean, you got good power generation. The kilo voltage, what they call it, per certain RPM is higher. Okay, so those are our intended outcome. So what we got to do now is to sit down. Number one, make sure how we manage oil leakage, how we manage diesel, and how we manage fuel pump is in the SOP, the integrated SOP with safety, health, and quality of that one single procedure. So you can have a few procedures. That's how you integrate them. And what we gather from the opportunity is our intended, is what they call options for our intended outcome. And if the top management so agree with the legible minutes of meeting endorsing what he wants to do, then the intended outcome has got to be stated clear. And when the intended outcome is agreed upon, the next step is to construct all the planning actions, a kind of program with objective to achieve those intended outcomes. Then all the other follow-ups of procedures to achieve to perform those planning actions has got to be done, and internal auditor has got to check what is the achievement of those work, whether it is closer to the intended outcome or are there other disruptions. Then that will be your audit finding. All right, it's the best I could do. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, subscribers, viewers. Please comment, please share and like. Well, it's a common YouTuber phrases, isn't it? But YouTube, you have done a wonderful job. Now, this is a good platform. Many people are not able to learn due to the costly nature of training, and also today in this period, it's all about pandemic. So we are all locked down in our houses. So still we use the time to learn, and I use this time to spur education. Hopefully it benefit all who is related to this subject. Okay, as a Malay, I wish everybody semoga dikurniakan keselamatan, kesejahteraan, kebahagiaan, dan kejayaan kehidupan di dunia dan di akhirat. Have you translated that? As a Muslim, I wish everybody around the world, everywhere, whatever color, whatever height and waistline have you, whatever faith have you, okay? This is about the love of our environment, and when we love the environment, we love all the inhabitants of the environment, all the coexisting individuals in the environment, just like you and me. So with that, this is the most powerful wish with lots of love, which is until we meet in the next video, inshallah, this is the wish. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.